Succession is a brilliant show made up of terrible people who you constantly root for and feel bad that you're rooting for them because you know that they're not good people and they don't deserve whatever they're aiming to achieve, but they still tug at your heartstrings. The last episode just aired on Sunday, and we find out that Tom Wambsgans is technically the winner, although his life is going to be a living hell because he's going to be underneath Elon Musk-esque type personality who is going to decide if he's going to fuck his wife and or tell Tom Wambsgans how everything's going to be run. But he's the one who controls the power in his relationship with Shiv, who is Logan Roy, the main guy's daughter, and she's the one who constantly has all the power in the relationship. Not anymore. Tom Wambsgans, the plain Jane dude from Oklahoma or wherever the hell he's from, rose through the ranks to become CEO of one of the most powerful companies in this fictional world. And my God, does he deserve it other than Cousin Greg. Cousin Greg should have been on top of everybody.
If Cousin Greg, though, had become CEO, would that not have been just like Bran becoming king?
No, absolutely not. You know, the reason why is Greg worked his way up from the bottom. He was literally in the first episode throwing up inside of a dog suit at the theme park and weaseled his way close enough to go back and watch it. It's fucking hilarious. He's throwing up inside of a dog costume at the theme park, and that's how he starts. He's like, I'm getting my start into this company. So he works his way through the ranks over the years. He stays close and plays the game. That's the whole point. It's like Hamilton. He literally knows how to play the game.
But he doesn't, because literally the last move he made backfired to where he could have gotten completely ousted from the company.
You're not wrong. So that was kind of like the big turning point, was the fuck up of Greg playing both sides as he has been. He chose wrong. He chose Kendall. He chose the family that he thought could not lose. And instead, Tom Wambsgans could have fucked him. And Tom Wambsgans opens up his arms and says,
but do you have to use all their full names? Like, do you have to keep saying their full name?
No, you
like,
don't.
I didn't know if like
Wambsgans is way too fun.
But if you watch the show, do you have to say everybody's first and last name?
Absolutely not.
Cousin Greg is not his name.
Well, I didn't know.
You absolutely don't. But here's the thing. Tom keeping Greg on, though, was not a unselfish move. Tom knew he needed a punching bag because he knew that he was going to be the Elon Musk character. What's his name? Remind me.
Oh my God, Madsen.
Yeah. He knew that Madsen was going to make his life hell, right?
Right.
And all the entire show.
So he's passing on.
Yes, the entire show.
Abuse.
He was passing on his abuse to Greg, and so he was like, "Well, I know that my job is going to be miserable. I need to make sure that I have an outlet to abuse someone, and that is Greg."
I don't disagree. He tied his cart to the wrong horse with Kendall and the family, but he gets to be in the CEO position. Actually, I think they reference in the show, he is the highest paid assistant at $200,000. When you put that in perspective for that company,
when they said that, you know what's hilarious is that like $200,000 is a great salary.
Oh yeah,
but when I heard that, I was like, "That's all he makes."
Everybody else around him are billionaires, and he is 200,000.
And he was so sad when Tom was like, "You're going to take a big pay cut," and he was like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "Dude, you're still rich," but then again, it's 200,000, so I guess I get it. What was in it for Shiv to go against Kendall? What made her decide that voting against Kendall was the right move for her? Because that's what's still escaping me.
This season was proof that Rome and Kendall could not be trusted to include Shiv. If they had authority or they had power, Shiv was getting cut out. She was not going to be a part of the conversation. She did it to herself, but also they did it to her unintentionally and then intentionally later in the season. She realized as a sibling to those two fucks, I can't trust them. I don't have power or possession over them to control what they do. And frankly, I just don't want one of them to win over me. Mm-hmm. And so she said, I poured my heart and soul to Tom an episode ago about, do you want to give this a shot? He's got the authority and the ability to control that company. I have something left to give, whether it's in the company, outside of the company. I'm tethered to power still because Madsen and Tom technically have that power. Right?
What I do think is funny, though, is that she has become her mom, which is not what she has wanted to do. She is completely become, because she is now at the mercy of Tom.
Right.
And it's very ironic because I felt like the whole show she's trying to become Logan and not her mom, but she has become her mom.
Correct. And Kendall's trying not to become his dad, but he became everything about his dad except for the success.
Yeah.
He intentionally manipulated his brothers and his brother and his sister.
I'm the eldest boy.
Exactly.
I am the eldest boy.
Exactly.
Great show. Great show. No, I mean, it is sad that it's over. It tugged on my balls a little bit too. But, I'm moving on to
Bigger and better things.
Bigger and better thing. No, I'm moving on to the show that you wanted to talk about that I'm not going to let
Wait,
Yeah,
real quick. Quick hit question. Being a parent of multiple kids and like if you have another kid, do you do you view any of that like oddly? Like how do you parse out things, or how do you prioritize your children? Is it the firstborn gets more, or is it just kind of like you spread it evenly? How, depending what you have.
Whichever one's more athletic, I'm going to spend more time with developing
more love and care.
Whichever one's more intellectually intelligent, I'm going to put my efforts into that.
I have a son and a daughter, and I was always of the opinion I'm going to spoil my daughter. I'm going to make sure that her life is better than my son's because
really
she's
like
daddy's. She's kind of tough. She's kind of tough to love. So
How old is she?
She's screeching. She hurts my ears. At least my son can articulate why he's mad, where she just yells at me and screams at me.
Is she 16? How old is she?
She is 16 months.
Yeah.
But she is tough to love.
Maybe give her.
But no, to answer
bit.
your question, no, she's done. We're gonna write
The writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
But no, to answer your question, I'm planning on keeping everything as even as possible. I think that's the only way to do it.
That's fair.
I try to think about it because, like, even just like I thought about like if we were looking at moving, and I'm like looking at like places like bedrooms, I'm like, oh crap, they're not all equal sizes, and they're not all this. So like I want to be equal because I have two sons. Just for background information, one is about to be 3 years old this month, and then the other's 4 months old. So obviously there's space between the two.
Sure.
But
yeah,
at the same time,
who do you give the company to? Who do you give the bigger bedroom to?
I know, but like you're doing Succession. I was just kind of going with like this is the early parts of it. Though.
Yeah.
It's like the starting stages of like this, it all starts here, and you think about like the psychological issue and stuff that can come down to like. And Brian's just staring at me like, motherfucker, you were the one, like you, Fredo. It was you, Fredo. I know it was you.
If you want to get into this, we can get into this.
No.
We don't need to go.
So there was a point where Justin owned a red Volvo.
Yeah, Brian took a car off a jump before this happened, just so we're clear.
I owned a Toyota Camry that was shared by both of us.
And you took it off a fucking
red
jump.
Volvo.
A jump.
And then I took mine off of a jump. So
And you
I,
destroyed
for about 2 months, did not have a vehicle at all.
You didn't deserve a vehicle.
Justin decided he wanted a black Volvo. Same year, same exact thing. Everything was the same, except for it was black.
Yeah.
And Brian, needing a car, didn't get the car that Brian wanted. Justin got the choice to get the black Volvo.
Brian had a hit.
Succession version 2 right here.
Volvo,
absolutely.
It's an old
My
Volvo.
mom picked Justin a long time ago.
No, she didn't. Actually, I'd say the oldest probably got picked, and then maybe I was second, if anything. But but one thing I would say, the vehicular destruction is probably what really set it up for you not to get the car that you wanted.
I'm curious.
At that
It's the
point.
lack of love for me. But
You're going a little too hard.
So before we move on to the next topic, though, I do want to ask you this because I know where I stand. If you were Logan, let's say you are a billionaire businessman,
philanthropist, playboy,
you do it all. Yeah, you have a company. What do you do with it? Do you give it to the child that's the most deserving? Do you like sell it and say, "Here's the money, kids"? Like, what do you do if you are a billionaire business owner with your kids?
I mean, personally, I'm no fancy lawyer, businessman, whatever. But at the same time, I mean, I think about too, like with the business that I do, kind of thing too. Like even at that level, like what you do is probably look at whoever's going to do the best job with it, and whoever's going to keep it going. Because no matter what, I would imagine I would make sure there's something there. Everybody's going to be taken care of. And there's enough money to go around, it appears right now. So as long as people are taken care of, the person who's going to do the best job, and as long as those other people are still incorporated the proper way, is what I would say. I don't like, I mean, obviously there's going to be a shift in the balance because the person at the top who's doing the most work, or you would expect to do the most work, that person should be getting a little bit more.
Yeah,
maybe a decent amount, depending on what it takes. I haven't watched.
Brian, what is your thought?
I'm throwing it back to Dwight, and then I'm going to say I'm going to be last.
So if I was Logan, and here's where I think Logan was just the worst father you could possibly be, is that not only did he neglect his kids his whole life, but he at one point promised the company to each of them.
Yes.
He told each of them at some point, the company's yours. I want you to be the person. So he was just playing them. If I had been Logan, and again, it's hard to put myself in that position because I'm nowhere in that realm, is I would have told them from the beginning, this is my company. I built this. You will not get this. I will either pass it on. You'll still be rich. You're still going to be a millionaire.
So you're going to do the Bill Gates thing.
I'm going to do the Bill Gates thing to a degree where I will be like, you will get money. You will be taken care of, but I'm going to do what's best for the company. You're not getting it unless, you know what I'm saying? I don't want there to be this sibling rivalry.
If you really
I wouldn't even let them earn it. I'm like, if you want to own your own company, great. But this is my company. I will sell it. I will share the money with you.
You're about to die. Like, you realize you have less than 10 years of life left. You're not trying to set up one of your family members. No. If they have spent the time, energy, and effort over their lifetime to be able to fulfill that role for you.
Here's the thing is I don't want there to be sibling rivalry. I want to leave that out. So even if one sibling was more deserving, yes, it'd be great. You could come intern for the company. You can, maybe get your start at the company, but I would not
What if they work their way up?
No.
What if they...
Because it would still be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bias.
Nepotism.
Nepotism. There would still be nepotism. It would be because, again, if you are that skilled and talented, you can go make your own thing. You don't have to ride my coattails. I would sell the company like he was going to sell it, right?
So I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I do have an issue with if I've invested my life into creating this thing that I identify as my legacy, not just my kids as my legacy, but this company as my legacy. I want it. I agree with the mentality that it's got to be somebody who's actually done the legwork to earn it. But if you're just outright saying it will never be my child because you need to go figure out your own thing, I appreciate what that is trying to say for that individual person of you need to grow like I grew when I created this and I was able to be successful. I want the same thing for you.
Like we're doing with this podcast. We're creating.
Yes, our kids will one day be sitting in this seat. And they will take on this.
Yes, my daughter
will one day inherit
right
all 12 of our subscribers.
Talking about sharding and
dinos.
Yes,
I'm a T-Rex.
All right, but anyways, that's my answer. My answer is I would tell them up front as soon as they could understand words. This company will never be your company. You will be taken care of financially, but don't go fighting about who's going to be the next CEO, who's going to be the next dad. None of you will be. That would be my answer.
I hope you're proud of yourself because what you've done is proved without a shadow of a doubt you are the world's dumbest son of a bitch.
Great. All right. Brian, what do you think?
Honestly, you have to earn it. If you want it, I want to see that you want it and that you're willing to do the legwork. You're right. When you get out of college, when you've actually made grades and you've applied yourself, you're not just going to have a free ride. You're not just going to have fun. You're not going to go to college and have it paid for by daddy. You're going to do the right thing early on. And if you've proven that to me, you're welcome to come work for my company.
What if both of your kids do that? And when you say work for it, now I don't have a problem. I would not have a problem with either, like, if my kids wanted to work at the company, I would not have a problem with that.
I'm saying.
I'm saying if you want to take over the company.
My point is, when I asked you, when I specifically was talking about this for you, was you've had kids that invested their time, energy, and effort into your company, weren't forced out. Like you, I think we're trying to say is that you need to go find your own thing. You need to go fix or, build your own empire. I'm saying you do the legwork, you spend the time. I imagine, because actually Graham's funeral put in perspective for me, how many of my friends have mommies and daddies that have companies that they have jobs in. Why the fuck did you go to college when you knew that you were going to already roll into that position anyway?
To have a good time.
Right, exactly. And that's the truth. That's exactly my point, is I had so many friends who didn't care about grades. One of them's missing here today because he wanted to have a good time. He didn't care about school. It was, how good of a time can I possibly have? If you prove to me that you're applying yourself, that you do genuinely care about the company that I built, then I want you in. And if you are the right person when it's time for me to step away, leave, die, I want that person that is my family to take over. If it's not the best person for the job, you're not gonna be the CEO.
Let's say that you're in the same position as Logan, where not saying that any of his kids
Three
were
fuck-ups.
well, let's back up. I mean, none of them were qualified. Not like we can agree with that.
Kendall being the most entrenched in the job itself, but no, I don't think because of his lifestyle as a child, he was never going to be able to be a Tom Wamsgans who really earned it.
But let's take it. Let's take it this way. Let's say you have 2 or 3 qualified children that they've shown they are willing to work. They are qualified. They want it. How do you pick?
So there's a terrible word called co.
Oh yeah, they're gonna love that.
And I legitimately hate that. Like for my life, because
but now that you're dad,
anything means nobody's doing any work. Like everybody's obfuscating responsibilities to the other person and nobody did anything. So I agree with that mentality. However, you could, but I very easily could pick. I can identify who's working the hardest, and I'll tell the person to their face why they're not working as hard as Kendall at trying to be CEO. Yeah. I love you equally, but I'm telling you, you're not serious people.
Rough.
But if
that's a great tugging at your balls. What were you gonna say?
No,
Justin?
but I was gonna say, but also like if I know, like, and maybe it's just I view things differently when it comes to like this is a little bit cheesy, but since I became a dad, to me, there's nothing more important than my child. Like any business, anything I do, like
which one? Which child?
Both of my children, but my point is, if I have an opportunity to leave them something like that, and then
I thought you were just gonna say when I have an opportunity to leave them, I'll take it.
I'm out of here.
I'll take it.
I'm out of here, brother. No, but if I have the opportunity to leave them, and like I said, the basic level, I know they're qualified, I know that they could do something like that, then absolutely I would do it. Picking between the two would be very difficult. I know I have a lot more time invested with my first child so far, but again, over time you'll see who has some more potential. But again, it would be so much harder for me.
Rough.
The word potential.
You guys are rough. See, my thing before we move on, I just want to avoid this. I know that there would be someone's going to get butthurt, and I want to make it clear that
hope it's not your daughter.
She's
well, that's coming one day or the other.
But I want to avoid it as soon as possible.
Okay.
That I want to make it clear as soon as possible that look, none of you are going to get it. Now, again, if the time comes where one child is completely uninterested and completely like I don't want to do this, and the other child has shown that they do,
right?
Then yeah, that makes it an easy decision. But just to avoid there being this competitive like slit throat. The siblings hate each other. They don't trust each other.
Right.
Just be like, none of you are getting it, just so you know. Yeah. Like, you're all going to be taken care of. You're all going to be rich. I'm going to make sure that you have a comfortable life.
Yeah.
But don't go cutting each other's throats over this company because I'm not giving it to you.
See, if I were the kid at that point, I'd feel like dad kind of bleeped out a little bit at that point. Like, I feel like he did a little bit of like, he took the easy way out. Like because not
by giving me millions of dollars, not making me fight for a job.
But what if these kids are like kids that are like all in, love their career, love their job, all in on this company, and instead you said, well, instead of you all backstabbing each other, which I mean, hopefully they wouldn't be doing that, but instead of you all fighting, trying to get the top spot, I'm just not going to give it to anybody. That seems kind of like why am I working this hard? Like if they love the company,
because you're an idiot. I've told you from the beginning you are not getting this job. Go start your own company. Go to your other business. Work the ranks up. You're wasting your time. I've told you this from the beginning. You're wasting your time. So you're not that smart. Because you're not listening to me.
Well, there's also part of me too, like as I've gotten older, where like again, I'm not saying that I don't want to pursue whatever in my career kind of thing, but at the same time, like my values are not like I don't get all my value out of work. Like my job is to provide for my family, so I can spend time loving being with my family.
Yeah,
for the most part.
That's why they're at home while we're doing this.
Exactly. That's why I haven't seen my kids in weeks.
Yeah. No, it makes you better dad. It makes you better dad. The less you're around your kids, the better you are.
The time you get with them, though, you're going to appreciate it. And you're going to enjoy it.
Amen, brother.